Hey everybody, we're back, and today we're doing a little bit something different from the dogs. But you probably heard Rebecca talk about how we're trying to live off the land a little bit more, maybe not be so reliant on grocery stores for everything. So along with gardening and stuff, we're also doing boiling sap today, hopefully making a little maple syrup. And I'm going to show you a little bit how we do it. It's not how everyone does it, but it's kind of lets you know that anyone can do it. It's pretty easy, even if we have a pretty crude setup like we do. But turn it around here. So this is pretty much all we got here. It's pretty much just a portable fire grate, fire ring, I guess, that we have opened up at the end here. And I don't know if you can see it real well, but we just got all of our fire in there, all our logs that we slide underneath there, and just real thick metal pans that can withstand fire, that they don't burn up or get holes in or anything. They're real heavy duty. And then you just put sap in it, and we'll show you later how we get the sap. You might already know, but what we do is pretty similar, I think, to most people. But that's pretty much it. It's really easy to do. We just have a few maple trees, and we didn't do it the first couple years. Didn't really, I don't know, maybe didn't know about it as much. But we're trying to do it, and we love how it tastes. It's, like I said, it's easy. You can do it on the fire. We've also done it a little bit on like a big deep turkey fryer. That isn't as, I didn't like it as much. It just, I think it costs a little bit more to buy the propane, and it took about the same amount of time, so it didn't really save us any time or anything. But also, if you're not doing as much, you can also just do it on a stovetop. It just might make it could make your cabinets a little sticky. Just the steam comes up. You gotta remember, is maple sap, so a lot of sugar coming out. But that's what we like to do. And so one thing to show you here, you can see how it's really boiling good and really steaming off. The trick is to keep that rolling boil as much as possible with still adding sap in it. So it's going to cool down every time you add sap in it. Like these big operations will have a big setup where it'll be like a slow drip the whole time, and they can keep that rolling boil going. That's not what we do. We just have our sap in these food grade buckets here, and even if there's some stuff in it, it's not that big a deal. Like this has some like tree bark stuff in it. Those aren't bugs, but even if there are bugs, we're gonna filter everything out before the final boil, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's what we like to do, and it's just sap boiling time. So what that means is at night it gets below freezing, and during the day it gets above freezing. That's when the maple sap really runs in the trees good. So that's what we're doing today. All right, now you know how to boil the sap. We're gonna go take a look at how we collect the sap. Gotta get past some crazy dogs here. There's only one right now, but they're out here somewhere. All right, so this is what we use. You just type in sap collecting bucket or whatever on Amazon, and this is what you're gonna find. It's a big bucket. I think it's 2 gallons and a lid, and this on the spile, and actually goes into the tree just like that, and it will tell you what size. They're not all the same size. I think this was like a 7/16 inch. You get the right drill bit, and then you get a little bit of an angle. You can see it's not quite 90. It's a little bit higher than that. Yeah, you just drill it in about 1.5 inches. Get your hammer and pound it in just a little bit until it gets nice and tight, and then everything else hangs real nicely out there. So there is no sap in here, just a just a little bit. That's all frozen. So it did get down to about 17 or 18 last night. That's why, yeah, again, nothing in this one. So no sap yet. Sap will start to flow once it gets to be above freezing. So gonna wait on that. Like I'm boiling now. I should, maybe it will start flowing a little bit before I'm done boiling. This one we got online and it didn't come with a lid, so it's kind of annoying. So this was a lid, and like I said, we have a couple of dogs that like to reach up and grab anything they can. So they grabbed it and they broke the lid like immediately, so that was nice. But there, it actually has a decent amount of room. So hopefully later today that will thaw up and we can boil down that sap. Say hi to some chickens. There's only one chicken, but well, one chicken there. We got about 20 of them. Maybe they're all inside. I don't know what they're doing. Well, we do have some new dogs. I don't know if you've seen them yet. We'll go check them out. They're awfully happy to see us. So this one on the right here, right here is Nala, and the other one on the left, stay on the left, yeah, is Lulu. So they're both purebred Bernese mountain dogs. They're trying to remember. I think Lulu is just over 3 months. Nala is just over 4 months. So yeah, they're just little puppies, but they'll join the pack before too long. I like to keep them separated just for a little bit because I like to be able to feed them their own puppy food and not have to worry about them getting into dog food, which isn't terrible. It's just not nearly as good for them. Puppy food's way better for them. So that's why we keep them separated. But they like each other. We're actually getting another one next week. But that's going to be a little bit older, about a little over a year. So we'll see how she is. Hopefully she can mix in with the rest of the dogs pretty well also. But those are our big new additions. So in a year and a half, maybe a little more, we should have some puppies. Hopefully a purebred litter. That'd be fun for us. We never had a purebred litter. So that's the idea. Yeah, and then they calm down real nice. Got about 3 minutes of playfulness in them. That's the Bernese mountain dog for you. And this is the old Bernese mountain dog. Not much play in her at all anymore. There she comes. Just want to be loved. Bernedoodle has a little bit more energy, don't you? Oh, I did forget to mention that if you don't want to spend as much money on the maple syrup tapping supplies, those buckets and lids and spiles and all that stuff is pretty expensive. I think, oh, what did we get, like all 4 of them for around $100, maybe a little more than that. I can't remember anymore. But if you don't want to do all that, you don't have to. There are definitely 8 ways to get around that. You can even use just some kind of stiff tubing, hollow tubing that you can pierce it or go into the tree. Do the same way. You just drill a hole just about the same size as the tubing, put that right in, and hang a bucket either right off that tubing or off of a nail. And it should be like a gallon ice cream bucket or some sort of other food grade bucket. There's plenty of options if you don't have all the supplies right on hand that some experts would say you need for maple sap, but you can probably find them around the house if you want to. That's just an option. Good. Okay. All right. Now we're on to the final step of the maple syrup making process. And this step, I always do it inside because it's a lot easier to regulate the heat and everything. So I said before that you can boil sap on the stovetop, but it's going to get a lot of sugar, might damage the cabinets. It's fine because we're just doing this for not that long. So I did everything outside, boiled it down to where it was a manageable amount, and put it in these large pots. And now we're boiling it down to it's 219 degrees. So right now it's hovering around 214, 213 degrees. So once that reaches 219 degrees, then we're gonna take it off the heat. We like to put it in mason jars just because that's the easiest way to can them. I don't know, I'm sure you could do other ways. That's the best way we found it that we could preserve it.
Did you have those cleaned? I drank out of one of them.
I know, you drank out of one. I didn't say anything, but I haven't sanitized them yet, so it's okay.
Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
Now I threw you off.
That's pretty much it. I don't know what else to say about maple sap making process. Oh, before we do it, since there was, I told you earlier that there's a lot of stuff, a lot of junk in there. We go through these filters. I don't really know exactly what they're called, but you can find them. I'm sure if you type in like maple sap filter, this will probably show up. You just put it in there. I don't know. Well, maybe I'll do it and you'll see it later.
It's okay.
I'm gonna combine these now because why not?